This year's Routes Europe is taking place in Aarhus, Denmark. It's reason enough for us from inside flyer and bunker planes to come by and see what is the latest development within the aviation industry. Among the participants are of course also many Danish airports.
Aarhus Airport is at Routes this year because we are the hosts. And of course, because hosting Routes in Aarhus is a really big opportunity for us and our airport.
Well, through many years we've always been on the Routes conferences, Routes Europe, Routes World, sometimes Routes Asia, sometimes Routes America. And in particular, Routes Europe is important for us because it's the place to meet all the airlines and also all other airports discussing business cases.
Routes is probably the biggest conference for development in the world. They got World Routes, Routes America, Routes Europe, and as a regional airport, actually, Routes Europe is a really important conference. So we had to be here, actually. So you need to see all the airlines and airports as well, destination promoters. So Routes clearly is the event to be.
With the summertime table already rolled out and demand recovering from the pandemic, are the airports now ready for this year's summer traffic rush?
We are always ready for the passengers to arrive. We have a very efficient airport where there's almost no waiting time, so fast security, we are staffing up. So we'll be ready for the summer.
We are definitely ready for the summer. We have a great summer in scope for us. Actually, we have a lot of growth on, especially in network airlines in Billund. And we see also that business traffic is up and running again, which is fantastic.
We are in a more stable environment now. It was a little hectic coming out of COVID. In terms of traffic, we are faring well. It looks quite positive. We are hovering around 10% above last year, so we are seeing positive growth on growth. And with a little bit of luck, we'll be nearing pre-COVID figures this year.
Aarhus Airport is actually ready to handle much more traffic than we have in our airport today. We are ready for twice as much, so at least. So I really hope that we'll get more routes out of this event.
Sustainability is a major topic in all of the aviation industry, but especially in the Nordic countries, it's not just a matter of reaching certain goals to become greener, but often a necessity, be it due to regulations or public demand. So what are Danish airports doing right now?
Well, sustainability is the subject that needs to be addressed for the entire industry. So we're trying to do our part. We have introduced a new charter scheme where there's some sustainability elements. For aircraft that has lower CO2 emissions, there's a positive benefit from a pool. So what we're trying to do on our part is to electrify as much as we can, both passenger car parking, employee cars, also equipment for operations. And then we're investing in solar panels, big time.
The short-term and more for mid-haul flights called Sustainable Aviation Fuel, SAF. This is a topic we are closely following today, especially for domestic flights. You probably know that Denmark is really focusing today on this topic. So that's a topic we are addressing today with various companies. More in the midterm, especially for niche routes, you know that electrical aircraft or hydrogen or hybrid aircraft are also coming. And for this type of activity, we also have actually developments. And finally, the airport of Esbjerg is involved in an Interreg European project called DEOL, developing innovative offshore logistics. And this project is has a major focus about sustainable operation in the North Sea, and electrical flights could be serving this purpose.
We work on a variety of aspects, of course. One thing is we're trying to become net zero on our own airport, and then of course we're also teaming up with other suppliers to make this arrangement with especially the P2X plants. That is a big thing for us.
As an airport, we are ready to do what we can do to support the infrastructure about the new technologies, supporting SAF and so on. And we have a really nice connection to the city center because the travel is not traveling by plane alone. It's also the connection to and from the airport. And with good public transport to our airport, direct to the city center, we have really good sustainable connections.
But enough about airports for now. At Routes Europe, airlines is of course also present, and one of the most interesting airlines at the moment is repositioning itself at the market. Let's hear from them.
25 years ago, right, 30 years ago, when alliances started, it really was about, call it SPAs and codeshares, right? How could you tap into each other's networks? And then already it started to be a bit more, well, not coordinated, but at least started to be more seamless for people through, for instance, alliances, Star, Sky, right? Similar products, a bit more tailored around the key airlines in those alliances. Alliances have really moved on to either equity stakes or joint ventures. And SAS has never been part of that. And that is something that will be very different for our passengers. Now, for the time being, and I want to be very clear, Air France-KLM and SAS will still be competitors, right? Even when Air France-KLM buys 19.9, approved this summer, right? They will still be competitors. We will still be competitors with Air France-KLM. But there is so much stuff you can do, bilateral relationships with them, that is completely legal. And then over time, whether or not that is in that controlling stake environment, whether or not Air France-KLM will really buy 51%, there is a joint venture topic that I've always spoken very passionately about as well, right? It's something that we haven't had with Star Alliance and that we will really want to push into with Air France-KLM and, for instance, Delta, but also other jurisdictions in the world, right? There's other airlines that we can do that with, and I think that is something that is really much more at the core of SkyTeam than probably Star Alliance. So when I look at the future possibilities again that we're having, of having closer relationships and hopefully those access to joint ventures, I think there you'll see a lot of benefits. I do think that when I look at Air France-KLM, the efficiency of Schiphol, the efficiency of also the Euro bonus tie-up potentially with Flying Blue, it doesn't have to be the same name, doesn't have to be the same program, but all of those benefits, it's a very successful program that we're having. And three, the networks of Air France-KLM, complementary to ours and what we can build ourselves in Scandinavia, I think actually will be more complementary than what we've had with the Star Alliance. So I think for passengers, I do see a lot of good news, but I want to be equally transparent. There is somewhat of a transition period. So we do expect to be fully ready with the major airlines, and then of course, filing codeshares, setting up those partnerships, it does take time, it's system time, and you cannot have 15, 25 airlines all being done at the same time. So we're prioritizing, and certainly this summer we're prioritizing Air France, KLM, Delta and Virgin, right? Those are the main ones that we first want to have. And then there is a second batch and a third, etc., etc. So what I, again, in all transparency will say is for those major ones, you will absolutely be fine, and it will absolutely happen before the cutover, the change from Star to Sky. There will be a transition period for some of the others. And collectively, all of SkyTeam completely convinced and committed that we want to keep that disruption, call it, to the least amount possible, right? Least number of weeks, months possible. So all of us are working very hard, I think very collaboratively, very cooperatively within the SkyTeam Alliance, but it still needs to happen. The big major ones, they will definitely be there already over the next months, and you'll see us come out with news and say, okay, now it's really up and running. But for some of the smaller ones, for instance, some smaller ones in Asia that we don't fly to ourselves, well, there is less need, to call it, from a passenger perspective.
While the airline is finding its way for a hopefully prosperous future, there is luckily still time for some fun, in particular with the SAS Destination Unknown, where the name is program.
I want, the call it mojo in travel back, right? I was here this morning, I shared that on stage as well, and this is 100% genuine. Got here in a taxi, and the taxi driver asked, how much time have you got? And I said, well, I actually need to be there because I need to go on stage. He asked me, can we take a 10-minute detour? And we did. And it was gorgeous, right? And he takes you, I mean, the lake, the sea, the castle in Aarhus. People want to travel, and the excitement of travel is sometimes that I lack that in some of the discussions. So Destination Unknown was exactly that again, right? People didn't know where they were going. They were really open-minded. It was really beautiful to see. And I'm hesitating a bit. What I'm thinking is, Okay, I'm going to tell you. We are thinking of different concepts. So, for instance, a destination unknown ski, or a destination unknown family, right? Or a destination unknown premium. There is so many things you can do with this. And so, yeah, stay tuned. We'll have more.
Let's get back to the airports that are finding themselves in an increasingly competitive market. So what are they doing to stand out?
Well, at Billund Airport, we've always tried to be fairly innovative in our approach to marketing to attract airline customers. So we always try to go our own ways rather than just following in the footsteps of other airports. Even though they might be good, we're trying to find our own ways to get the attention of the industry.
We always try to create an amazing passenger experience. As I said, the efficient airport that we have with no waiting and world-class customer service. And then, of course, maybe not different from all other airports, but of course we have a lot of focus on the business case. Creating a viable and sustainable route is very key for us.
I think the most important thing for an airport is the destination, and our destination is quite unique. Everyone is seeing this today and during the week, because we are the host and everyone are out enjoying the city and enjoying the surroundings around Aarhus. So airport is not an airport alone. Airport is so dependent on the destination, and we have a really perfect, complete destination.
Routes, as the name suggests, does of course also give airports and airlines alike the opportunity to connect. So what new destinations might be on the horizon?
Well, we have many new routes from Aalborg this summer, fortunately. I think I would mention our route to the southern France with Norwegian. We have Nice, which is the only airport in Jutland who will have a route to the southern part of France. So we are very much looking forward to welcoming that. That will start on June the 3rd. And then I would mention also our route to Greenland, which we are very much looking forward to opening as well.
We've got this offshore segment, which is really important. It's calling destinations in the UK, in Norway, in the Netherlands, in Germany. So we don't focus just on one destination. Secondly, of course, we've been talking about the VFR market. We've got really strong communities with the Romanian community, the Polish community. We've got Syrian people, for instance, Bosnian people in the region. And we want also to address these communities because we know that they are struggling today to connect with the families and relatives. And we want to serve them as best as we can.
There's many routes that we wish to have to Aalborg. Of course, a new hub would be amazing, but also just new routes to the southern part of Europe is very high on our wish list.
To be very honest, we would love to see a lot more frequency on our existing routes together with our existing customers, and that's actually where we work the most, to get higher frequency, more capacity on our existing airline customers. Now, that said, we would also love to see in Europe a Stavanger, a Naples, Nice, Florence routes. Long haul, we would love to see New York, Dubai, Doha.
I'm trying not to be picky. We have 167 destinations served out of Copenhagen this summer traffic season, and we are fortunate that with a close relationship with the airlines, most of the European routes have been re-established and more have been added actually. We had Bilbao on the wish list for many years. That started last summer. So if we look a little bit further out on the horizon, I would say Seoul has been on our radar for a number of years. We were very close, I think, just before COVID. So we're hoping that could materialize, and also looking south towards Africa, then Cape Town and Johannesburg has been on the wish list for many years. Potentially other opportunities in Africa as well.
Our ambitions for our airport, they are huge, and of course we are looking into to a lot of different routes, including overseas. I have a really long list because we know our area is so underserved with routes, but in the very top I would really love to have more hubs in Europe to bring all our passengers out to the world.
That's all from Routes Europe 2024 in Aarhus, Denmark. Thank you for watching, and please remember to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. I'm Henrik Olsen, reporting from Inside Flyer.